Who's that? John Wayne. John! Duke. You don't, he was never called John. Do you call him Duke right away? Nothing else, ever. You wouldn't dare. I've never watched it. And I never will. That was all. Angie Dickinson, Hollywood's smoldering icon of the 1950s, said during an interview at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel in 1994, when asked about the film that had catapulted her from a B-list actress to a full-blown American symbol. But some who were present that day recall a different detail. As Angie stepped out of the ballroom, she quietly pulled a tissue from her purse, dabbed her lashes, and whispered to her assistant, "I never want to see that face again." What face? Why would the very film that changed her life be something she could never bring herself to watch? And what truly happened behind the scenes that year? Something so haunting that for over 60 years, Angie Dickinson has fiercely kept it buried. All of that will be uncovered in today's video. The old Tucson desert, Arizona, that summer was scorching hot. The dry, scorching sun could not stop the bustling crew of Rio Bravo, a film project that was expected to revive the declining cowboy film genre. John Wayne, a living icon of America. Dean Martin, a refined playboy with a voice that captivated millions. Ricky Nelson, the explosive face of the youth, the most famous teen idol in America. At that time, 3 stars, 3 personalities, 3 generations. And then Angie Dickinson. When Angie's name appeared on the official cast list, many people were stunned. Who was she? A slender girl with brown eyes, blonde hair, and lips that were always half smiling. A virtually unknown name, never played a prominent role, was suddenly assigned the female lead role of Feathers. A sharp, seductive gambler, both soft and wild, the type of woman that Hollywood, at that time, only dared to give to big names like Lauren Bacall or Ava Gardner. But this was no fairy tale. As soon as Angie stepped onto the set, the atmosphere changed. People did not see her as a colleague, but as an intruder. A stranger had entered the elite ranks, and people did not like that. The small, hot and stuffy dressing room, which should have been a place to relax before filming, became a pressure furnace of suspicion and scorn. Whispers began to spread. Who did she sleep with to get that role? There are only 2 types of people in Hollywood. One is a genius. The other is someone who knows how to sleep in the right bed. No one said it directly, but every glance that passed her was as sharp as a knife. The looks from the crew, the looks from her co-stars, and the wry smiles from the production manager all carried the same underlying question. What did she do to deserve this? And it wasn't just a rumor. Inside Warner Brothers, some executives were vehemently opposed to director Howard Hawks' decision. According to internal documents leaked by journalist Frank McAdams, in a 1985 interview, an internal memo stated, "You can't bet 100,000 on a face that's not ripe enough." In the economic climate of the time, $100,000 was the equivalent of nearly $1 million today, and Angie Dickinson, a girl who had never been nominated for a major role, was given a role worth a fortune. At this point, the press smelled blood. The Hollywood Reporter hinted that Feathers was rewritten to suit the director's own taste. Photoplay, a gossip tabloid, ran the headline, "Angie where? did she come from to appear like a star, and cited a series of anonymous sources claiming that Angie had a private relationship with Howard Hawks. An editor of the Los Angeles Examiner, over drinks with reporters in 1972, even blurted out, "When I got the news that Angie was chosen, I thought it was a typo." Hawks had never given a leading role to someone so inexperienced. Don't tell me it was because of her acting, I don't believe it. Insiders whispered Hawks had a history of favoring blondes. Before that, it was Lauren Bacall who was also discovered and supported by him. But this time, according to some whispers, Angie was not just supported. Some former crew members who worked at Paramount and later wrote memoirs said bluntly, no one dared to mention it, but Hawks once took Angie to his home in Beverly Hills for a script meeting. No writers were with him, and the lights were on until 2 a.m. that night. Of course, Angie never confirmed it nor denied it. Every morning in old Tucson, amidst the scorching sun and the flying sand, Angie Dickinson quietly walked to the set of Rio Bravo. She clutched her script as if it were her last shield against the scrutiny of the entire film crew. On the outside, she tried to keep a smile on her face to appear okay. But on the inside, Angie was a mess. Fear, self-consciousness, and a sense of not belonging surrounded her every step. She didn't tell anyone, but the morning bouts of vomiting, the dazed look in the makeup room, and the trembling hands holding her coffee cup said it all. In front of the camera, Angie was feathers, a charming, daring, and intelligent gambler. But behind the camera, she was just a small-town girl who had never stood in front of a grand set, now having to act alongside faces considered typically American like John Wayne or Dean Martin. It wasn't just a feeling of being lost. It was also a long mental torture. Before the film began shooting, Angie almost dropped out. According to a source at Warner Brothers, recorded in an internal memo in 1975, but never made public on the last day of the audition at the Beverly Hills Hotel, she burst into tears in the living room. As soon as the news of her casting was broadcast in The Hollywood Reporter, a wave of silent protest spread throughout Hollywood. The Los Angeles Examiner openly sarcastically said, "A $100,000 leading lady for a girl who has never won a television award. Is this an artistic choice, but a choice for the pillow?" The rumors were more vicious than the desert sun. Inside the studio, there was a rumor that Hawks had once taken Angie to his Beverly Hills home to review the script. But strangely, no one from the crew showed up that night. A former maid of the director told Confidential magazine in 1963, "I saw her leave the director's house at just after 1 a.m. Her eyes were red, her coat was inside out, and she was barefoot." Although no one had concrete evidence, such details were enough to make the name Angie Dickinson a hot topic at cocktail parties in the entertainment industry at that time. She was considered a sacrificial pawn in the power chessboard of the director and the film studio. The atmosphere on set became increasingly stifling. Once, while filming a dialogue scene with John Wayne, Angie forgot her lines. She stood still in the middle of the set, sweat running down her back, her eyes staring at the director as if asking for help. Hawks said nothing, just stood up coldly, threw the script on the ground, and hissed, "I don't need a pretty doll who just stands still. I need a more capable actress." The whole set was dead silent. Ricky Nelson sat next to her, turned away,